Hi, I'm Mr. Campbell. School may be out for summer, but school is not out for SummerSlam. SummerSlam. This is SummerSlam Graded. We are live in Toronto with a fairly lively crowd to start with and a fairly dodgy WWE network to start with. The one thing I noticed from watching Twitter is the amount of people that were having problems with the WWE network. This is the first big show they've done since they've redone it all. And yeah, quite glitchy, quite buggy on at least one occasion. When I found out, I paused it and had to come back to it, I found that it jumped about 30 seconds and I found out the winner of a match. So that was good. Well done, network. Oney Lorcan challenges Drew Gulak for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship in our opening match. Very wrestling type affair to start things off. A lot of grappling between these two. A couple of times the Gulak nearly goes in, but Lorcan manages to find a counter to it. Then we get some heavy striking action from Oney Lorcan and Drew Gulak. Lorcan does my favourite move where he grabs you by the chinny chin chin and just starts smacking you. Aha. Made my ears ring. Ah. So it looked like at some points that Lorcan was actually going to win the Cruiserweight Championship, but it wasn't to be. Just as he was about to lock in a submission move, Gulak brings the ring skirt in with him, like grabs the ring skirt, pulls it all the way in. And this causes the referee to go, hang on a minute, I need to fix this ring skirt. This is going to take all my attention away from the match. And as he's doing that, Drew Gulak just smacks Lorcan in the throat. Interested. Normally you go for a low blow if you're a baddie. I like the alternative of going for a smack in the throat. Nice. Good shout. He then hits that big old cyclone for the 1-2-3 and Drew Gulak retains the Cruiserweight Championship in the opening match. I'm going to give this one a C+. I thought there was some good stuff in there, but I think for me the momentum didn't truly get going. Could have gone maybe a bit longer and a bit harder, but C+, it was fine. Unexpected additional match time between Buddy Murphy and Apollo Crews. You might as well call this a plot device on a pole match, because this really served to put Buddy Murphy in the same place at the same time as Rowan. Now, they had a good 4.5 minute match, did Apollo Crews and Buddy Murphy. They got all their big moves in. We saw Buddy Murphy do an amazing dive over the ropes and wipe out Apollo Crews, yet in doing so, it left him wide open for a rogue boot by Rowan for the disqualification. So Buddy won by DQ on that one, and then Rowan just clattered him afterwards. Do you know what? Considering this was just a device to put Rowan and Buddy Murphy in the situation to continue that Roman Reigns whodunit storyline, despite that, this definitely gets a C. They just chucked in some really good stuff in there. Like a nice, sharp 4.5 minute match. Good work. So Elias is out and he's singing a song about Toronto. Spoiler, it's not a very polite song about Toronto. It's quite mean. Interrupted by You Think You Know Me? And here comes Edge, making a cheeky return in Canada. Edge makes his way out. The one thing that made me chuckle about his entrance was he went through the whole rigmarole of doing the stop and the pose and the point to the sky that he used to do when the pyro would go off, and he got no pyro. It's a bit embarrassing for everyone involved. Edge then gets into the ring and spears Elias. Like, this is the first time we've seen Edge do anything physical since before he retired, which is very optimistic. But I don't know whether it was me, but you could tell that Edge was slightly anxious about doing something physical. I kind of got an impression on his face beforehand that he was kind of psyching himself to do it, like, okay, here we go. And then he did it, and just relief washed over his face. Can I give this segment an A? I'm going to give this segment an A. It's my classroom. I just thought it was great to see Edge back. It was great to see Edge do something physical. Who knows? Are we getting another run from Edge? Let the rumor mill spin. Also backstage, we had the OC confronting Finn Balor. And the OC basically said to Finn Balor, if you need us, you know what to do. Oh, baddie Finn shenanigans? Surely not. Women's Championship on the line as the Iconics challenge Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who won the belts this past Monday on Raw. Alexa Bliss is wearing a Buzz Lightyear themed outfit that's made me think weird things about Tim Allen. So, thanks for that. Appreciate that. Good match between these four. Nikki Cross was the one that got most of the beatings from the Iconics. Alexa got the hot tag. Finish came when Nikki jumped on the back of Billie Kay, taking her out of the match, leaving Peyton Royce wide open for a hard fist across the face from Alexa Bliss. Is Alexa now doing the woman's right? Looks like she might be. Knocked her down, twisted Bliss, 1, 2, 3, titles defended. Giving this a C. I'm glad that this was the match that they had in the time slot they had, as opposed to having a 4-way women's title match, which was the original plan. Like, you couldn't have done a 4-way women's match in the space of time they had. So this was fine. It was serviceable. It gets a C. We can't leave the kickoff show shenanigans without discussing R-Truth, Carmella, and Drake Maverick, who just kept appearing around the announcer's desk position. At one point, Drake was calling out R-Truth, and now you could see R-Truth and Carmella in the glass bit in the front of the announce desk eating popcorn. R-Truth and Carmella, whatever the WWE are paying you, they should be paying you double. You have been quality lately. So it's time for the main show, and what's this? We've got Pyro! We've got Pyro in 2019! What an absolute treat to have some fireworks at the WWE. Opening match was the submission match for the Raw Women's Championship, Natalya versus Becky Lynch. Some said the crowd would be very pro-Natalya. Some people said the crowd was split. I personally thought it was 60-40 to Becky. A lot of love for Becky Lynch in Toronto tonight. A great submission match between these two, real close quarters, grappling to get us started. We saw lots of variations on the sharpshooter, which I thought were great. At one point, Natalya had the sharpshooter locked in on the top rope. And Becky's just there like screaming in pain. And I thought, oh, are they going to throw this out? Well, no, because there's no breaks on a 5 count in this particular match. So I thought maybe that's how she loses the belt now. I know we're very quick into the match, but that could be it. I like the sharpshooter on the top rope. The only time where I think the crowd turned on Becky was when she did a sharpshooter herself. You do not do a sharpshooter in Canada unless you are a heart. Lesson learned, Becky. The last time we see a sharpshooter in this match would be when Natalya was strapping it on whilst Becky was leaning over the ring apron. Another really creative use of the sharpshooter from Natalya. Becky would fight her way out of it and lock in the disarmer and really like cinch in the disarmer. So much so that Natalya was forced to tap out. Opening match, this gets an A. What a cracking way to start SummerSlam. Just two women just battering each other and showing each other's prowess in submission styles. Really like this, and it was the right result as well. There was no need, really, to have Natalya win tonight. I think Becky continues to ride the WrestleMania momentum. Big love to Becky. It's Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler next, and oh, did they tease us to start with? The moment the match starts, Ziggler nails Goldberg with a super kick and gets like a 2 count. Then he does it again and gets another one. And then he goes for it again and he gets speared. And there we go. Spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Ziggler lost to Goldberg. My shoulder's quite bare as a result of this. But you know what? I can't be crossed because what happened afterwards really, I think, rejuvenated Ziggler, because Ziggler got destroyed by Goldberg and Goldberg walked away. And as Goldberg was walking up the ramp, there's Ziggler going, "Hey, Goldberg, come back. Come back, you couldn't beat me man to man." Goldberg comes back, spears him. Goldberg leaves again. And Goldberg then leaves the arena. Ziggler gets on the mic and says, "Hey, he can't beat me. He still can't beat me." And then Goldberg's music hits, Goldberg comes back out, and it looks like they're going to have a nice tender moment where Goldberg picks up Dolph Ziggler, kind of dusts him down, and Goldberg bounces off the ropes, spears him again. This actually, I know on the outside it looks like Ziggler just took a pasting, but the fact that Ziggler kept calling for more, like, I think it's done him good. I genuinely think that this was the outcome that has done Ziggler the most good. I mean, pinning Goldberg would have been brilliant, just saying, but we didn't get that. This was fine. This gets an A, this segment. I know I should be biased because my Cultaholic Heavyweight Championship is gone as a result of Goldberg beating Ziggler, but I can't be cross watching this. I thought it was great use of Goldberg, and it gets an A. Nice. Now, the only issue with the Goldberg segment was it kind of has an effect on the crowd, where I've decided that it's the crowd were Goldberged is the phrase I'm going to use. The crowd with Goldberg, they were so worn out by watching Goldberg just decimate Dolph Ziggler and cheering like crazy. They're pretty quiet for the next few matches, and I think that sort of detracts a little bit from the matches, which is a real shame. New Day are backstage though, and they present Kofi Kingston with a good luck charm tonight. Canada's own Drake. It was Drake Maverick dressed as a rapper. Some WWE comedy in there. That's fine. You do you, hun. You do you. Kofi defends his WWE title later on tonight against Randy Orton. Ricochet versus AJ Styles now for the US Championship. Ricochet's outfit. What do we reckon? Superhero or motorcycle enthusiast? I can't quite decide. It looks very hot. Like he must get really warm in that. And is it not limiting? I don't know. It certainly felt limiting tonight, because tonight it really felt like they cut Ricochet's wings off. The whole story of the match with AJ Styles was that Ricochet's got a bum knee, and AJ is just focusing on that bum knee. So the majority of the match was Ricochet tries to mount a comeback, AJ takes out his knee. Ricochet tries to mount a comeback, the OC get involved. Tries to mount a comeback, hurts his knee. We got maybe 2 big spots from Ricochet. I'm not saying that we have to have big matches and big spots for Ricochet all the time, but this felt really slow for these two. And add to that the fact that the crowd are still dead. The crowd are still Goldberged, so they're very tired. The finish was actually quite creative when Ricochet flipped off the top into a twisting senton, but AJ Styles caught him, turned it into a Styles clash for 1, 2, 3. The finish was great. The finish actually bumped the mark up a little bit for this match. I'm going to give it a C+. I just think that I've been quite disappointed with the AJ Styles Ricochet stuff so far. I kind of thought it just have a bit more vim and vigor to it, and it really doesn't, which is a shame. Bayley versus Ember Moon for the SmackDown Women's Championship up next. I was a big fan of Ember's sort of backbreaker into a code breaker that she did halfway through the match. There's a couple of little flourishes that Ember Moon does that I really like. The finish came like almost out of nowhere, where Bayley hit a Bayley to Bayley off the middle rope for the 3 count. Bayley wins, Bayley defends. It was all right. I'm giving it a C. I don't think it was the most exciting match of the night. I think hampered by a bad crowd, but these two worked all right together. The feud itself has been a little bit muddled. Ember Moon's kind of got a bit lost in the shuffle, which is, she deserves more than that. Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. If Kevin Owens loses, he must quit the WWE. And the added accoutrements to this is that it is a regular wrestling match. There's no wacky stipulations. It's countouts are on, DQs are on, and Shane McMahon introduces his special enforcer, Elias. So now he's got the hand in the referee's pocket, metaphorically as well. The story of this was Kevin Owens fighting Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon, oh God, he had a... I know he's not the most dynamic of performers, but he had some bum moves tonight. Not a fan of them punches. But the whole thing was several occasions where Shane was trying to get Kevin Owens to do something to get himself disqualified or trying to get him counted out. And it came to the end of the match where he was goading Kevin Owens to hit him with the chair, and then eventually Kevin decided not to do it. And then there was some shenanigans involving Elias and Shane. They bumped into each other while the referee was distracted with nobody looking. Kev gives Shane a low blow, hits him with a stunner. 1, 2, 3. Kev wins. Kev keeps his job. Giving this one a C. I'm on a run of C's at the moment, aren't I? It was fine. It was fine. I think the problem is, very similar to like with the Ricochet AJ Styles match, our expectations are quite high. And I think we all said, I think even me and Ross said in the predictions, that Shane's going to jump off something, or there's going to be something ridiculous. And we didn't really get that. Instead, we just had Shane the wrestler, which we don't want. Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus now. This was superb. Both women went to town in this match. Charlotte Flair was at her absolute evil best throughout it. And Trish Stratus she didn't look like she's lost a beat. Trish Stratus looked amazing in there. busted out all the greatest hits, the chick kick, Stratusfaction, that incredible Frankensteiner where we thought she was going to get powerbombed off the top rope, spun it round into a Frankensteiner. Amazing scenes. Of course, it had to go the way of Charlotte, and we've got to tap out on the figure 8. Charlotte wins the match, but then Charlotte left the ring to let Trish soak in the adulation of the Toronto crowd. If this is really her last match, then she's gone out on a high. You know, not many people get to come back and have that one big match that just blows you away, and Trish Stratus really did. Given this one an easy peasy A. This was great wrestling by 2 great performers. Nice. Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston now for the WWE Championship. This is a match 10 years in the stupid making. And it wasn't worth waiting 10 years for, was it? Oh, this was probably the weakest match of the night for me. I don't think Kofi and Randy really clicked. I don't. Felt a bit slow. The ending kind of gives me the intimation that they're going to carry this on, because Randy Orton's outside the ring giving it all this to the Kingston family. Kofi fires up and fights him away. Both men end up getting counted out. Kofi completely wails on Randy Orton with a kendo stick / Singapore cane, whatever you want to call it. Batters him with that, leaves him laying. So Kofi's kind of come out on top. They're building to something else down the road. Maybe they'll find their feet as they go. But this was the weakest match of the night for me, and it's going to get a C-. So that's me being really polite. It's going to get a C-. This is what we waited for. Genuinely, I think this is the highlight of SummerSlam for me. It is Finn Balor versus The Fiend. And I didn't know what to expect going into this. I didn't know how it was going to be presented. Tell you what I didn't expect. Bray Wyatt's head as a lantern. No! Oh, that made me feel a bit sick. That made me feel a bit sick. Amazing remix of his old theme tune, complete with that Bray Wyatt lantern. Did you notice it didn't have a handle? It was his dreadlocks wrapped up. The Fiend character is great. Little touches that the Fiend does that makes the Fiend stand out. Like at one point, he Irish whipped Finn Balor, but instead of like a standard Irish whip where he pulled him, like he pushed him into the ropes. Little touches like that. Finn got a little bit of a comeback at one point, but then missed the double foot stop and went straight into the arms of the Fiend with a mandible claw, and the mandible claw knocked Finn Balor out in the 1, 2, 3. And the lights went out. We saw some strobe lighting as the demon laughed. Lights went out again. Gone. Crowd chanted, "That was awesome." This gets an A. Perfect. I was so nervous with how they would present the Fiend, and I think they got it right. 100% right. This is a great way to present the Fiend. Nice. Loved it. Although that lantern made me sick. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship is our main event tonight, and it was a suitable finale to the Lesnar-Rollins rivalry, I do believe. Felt right to me. The offense from Brock Lesnar was predominantly on the ribs of Seth Rollins. There was a great bit where he picked up Seth Rollins by his rib tape and was just swinging him round. Just swinging him round. Incredibly strong rib tape. Why is it when somebody is injured, the one thing they always try and do is use that body part for moves? Seth Rollins, who finally got himself a bit of momentum going, threw Brock Lesnar onto the announce table and did a frog splash off the top rope and through the table with injured ribs. It looked great, but I was just surprised that he was doing it. We saw stomps and we saw F5s. It was a multiple amount of stomps that put away Brock Lesnar, and Seth Rollins, surprising quite a few of us, became the Universal Champion once again. Gonna give this one a B. I think it was a suitable end of the show. I thought it just dragged a little bit in the middle. I think they could have cut out probably about 5 or 6 minutes and it would have still had that impact. Seth Rollins becoming champion again got a really, really good reaction actually. And I'm surprised by that because he's been a very outspoken chap in the last few weeks, but nonetheless, he is our boy and he is the champion once again. Gonna give his main event a B. Overall, SummerSlam this year is going to get an A- from me. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a strong show. There was some stuff in there that didn't really touch the sides. Like the WWE title match and the US title match didn't do a lot for me. But the return of Edge doing a spear, that was nice to see. The Goldberg Dolph Ziggler stuff I thought was great. I thought everybody benefited from that. Charlotte Flair and Trish Stratus had possibly one of the best women's division matches of the last couple of years, if not more. I thought it was excellent. And the debut of The Fiend was perfect. Enough to give it an A-. Good SummerSlam this year. If you're going to skim through and watch it, if you haven't got time to watch the whole thing, certainly check out the debut of The Fiend. But I will warn you, the lantern shaped like Bray Wyatt's head may make you feel a little bit sick. Love you, bye.
Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.